Picture a hiring manager standing at her office window watching the parking lot below. Two candidates are arriving for final interviews. Same qualifications, same experience, same education. One pulls up in a 10-year-old Honda Civic with a dent in the bumper. The other arrives in a new Audi sedan, black paint gleaming. Before either walks through the door, a judgment has already formed. She does not consciously think it, might deny it if asked, but something shifts in how she perceives these two people. This moment reveals something uncomfortable about human psychology and the invisible ways we sort people by the cars they drive. People who judge others by their cars are engaging in social assessment that feels automatic. It happens so quickly most people do not recognize they are doing it. Someone drives up in a luxury vehicle and assumptions form: successful, competent, trustworthy. Someone drives up in an old car and different assumptions emerge: struggling, careless, less capable. These judgments happen in seconds, before any interaction occurs, and they shape opportunities and relationships in ways most people never acknowledge. Research in social psychology shows humans constantly make rapid assessments about status and group membership. We evolved in environments where quickly identifying who held power was crucial for survival. Those instincts found new signals in modern society. Cars have become one of the most visible status markers available. They are public, mobile, constantly on display. Unlike homes or bank accounts, cars move through the world broadcasting something about their owner to everyone. There is a woman named Jennifer who works in real estate in Southern California. She drives a leased Range Rover, costing $900 monthly. She bought it specifically because of how clients react. When she pulls up to show million-dollar homes, clients see the Range Rover and make instant judgments. Successful agent knows what she is doing, moves in the right circles. She once drove her older car to appointments and noticed clients treated her differently, asked more skeptical questions, seemed less convinced. Same person, same knowledge, different car. The treatment changed. This reveals the concept psychologists call the halo effect. When we perceive one positive quality about someone, we tend to assume other positive qualities as well. An expensive car creates a halo that extends beyond the vehicle itself. We unconsciously assume the driver must be intelligent, hardworking, successful in other domains. The car becomes proof of general competence. The reverse happens with less expensive or older vehicles. One visible marker of lower status creates assumptions about everything else. The person must be less capable, less reliable, less worth engaging with seriously. But there is something deeper operating here. Judging people by cars is fundamentally classism, sorting humans into hierarchies based on perceived economic status. It allows snap decisions about who deserves respect based on possessions rather than character. Someone might drive an old car because they are financially responsible. Someone might drive a luxury car they cannot afford. The judgment rarely accounts for these possibilities. First impression research shows people form lasting judgments within seconds of encountering someone. These initial assessments resist change even when contradicting information emerges. If someone's car creates negative first impressions, they face an uphill battle. They must work harder to prove competence, earn trust, be taken seriously. Meanwhile, someone whose car creates positive impressions starts with automatic credibility they might not have earned. Consider how this judgment happens. Someone sees a car, and their brain categorizes instantly. Luxury brand equals high status. Economy brand equals low status. New equals successful. Old equals struggling. These categorizations happen faster than conscious thought. By the time someone becomes aware they are judging, the judgment has formed. This is why it feels natural and why many genuinely believe they are not doing it. There is also an element of in-group and out-group psychology at play. People tend to feel affinity with those who drive similar cars or cars in the same status category. Someone driving a BMW feels kinship with other BMW drivers. They are part of a group marked by a shared symbol. This creates subtle social bonds and networks that exclude others. When business deals happen, when social invitations get extended, when opportunities arise, these unconscious affiliations can influence who gets included and who gets left out. The car becomes a marker of tribal membership. The fascinating thing is how much this varies by context and community. In certain urban areas, not owning a car at all signals environmental consciousness and urban sophistication. In suburban or rural areas, not having a car might signal poverty or inability to function independently. The same vehicle can send completely different signals depending on where you are. A pickup truck in Texas communicates something different than a pickup truck in Manhattan. A Tesla in Silicon Valley is practically invisible. A Tesla in a small Midwestern town draws attention and judgment, positive or negative depending on local values. Social media has intensified these dynamics. People curate car presentations carefully, photographing vehicles from flattering angles, emphasizing luxury features, using cars as lifestyle props. The pressure to have a car that photographs well, that signals the right things digitally, has become another judgment layer. Some drive modest cars daily but rent impressive ones for Instagram. The performance of status through cars has become elaborate and self-conscious. There is a darker dimension. When car-based judgment happens in hiring, housing, or business partnerships, it perpetuates real inequality. Someone from a wealthy background who can afford a nice car gets advantages unrelated to abilities. Someone working their way up who drives an older vehicle faces skepticism that makes upward mobility harder. The judgment reinforces existing class divisions rather than allowing merit to determine outcomes. The psychology of the people doing the judging is equally interesting. Many genuinely do not realize they are making these assessments. If confronted, they might deny it completely. Others are aware but justify it as practical. The car reveals something real. Some feel uncomfortable about it but cannot seem to stop the automatic judgments from forming. And a few use it consciously and strategically, deliberately sorting people based on visible status markers. What makes this insidious is that it feels like common sense rather than prejudice. Judging someone by race or gender is recognized as wrong, but judging by car can feel like reasonable assessment. After all, they chose that car, right? This logic ignores complex reasons why someone might drive a particular vehicle. Maybe they inherited it. Maybe they are saving for other priorities. Maybe they reject consumer culture. The judgment assumes a simple relationship between car and person that rarely exists. There is also interesting psychology around luxury car brands specifically. Certain brands carry meanings beyond simple expense. A Mercedes signals different things than a BMW, than an Audi, than a Lexus. People who judge by cars have learned these distinctions and read them as personality indicators. Mercedes equals traditional success. BMW equals performance-oriented. Audi equals understated wealth. These associations are cultural constructs, but they feel real enough that people make relationship and business decisions based on them. The question worth asking is what this pattern reveals about values and what we have collectively decided matters. In a society that judges people by their cars, we are saying that visible consumption and status display are legitimate ways to assess human worth. We are saying that surface markers matter more than we might want to admit. We are creating a system where people feel pressure to spend money on vehicles not for transportation but for social positioning and acceptance. This has real psychological and economic consequences. Understanding the psychology of people who judge others by their cars reveals uncomfortable truths about how status, class, and belonging operate in everyday life. It shows how quickly humans sort each other into hierarchies, how much we rely on visible symbols to make social decisions, and how these rapid judgments can create real advantages and disadvantages that compound over time. The person pulling into that parking lot does not just have a car. They have a signal that will be read, interpreted, and used to make decisions about their worth before they ever open their mouth. That is not fair. But it is deeply uncomfortably human.